What's up team? Weightlifting accountant here. So today's video I'm going to be talking about something that we as weightlifters will all have to deal with, I'm sure, at some point in time, and something that I've been dealing with for the last 6 or 7 months. You may have seen me talk about it or seen me make reference to this in some of my Instagram videos and some of my YouTube videos. It's actually one of the reasons I started on the ketogenic diet in the first place, and that is knee pain. So, as weightlifters, we do a hell of a lot of squatting. Now, this puts a lot of pressure on our knees, and if you don't do enough rehab and prehab work, you're gonna end up having issues. So I thought what I would do is break down a few of the common types of knee pain that people incur and give you guys some tips on how to rehab that knee pain and some tips on how to, combat the pain so you can keep training where you should. So, typically as weightlifters, there's going to be 3 types of knee pain that we're going to incur. Those 3 types are patellar tendonitis or tendinopathy, quad tendon tendonitis or tendinopathy, and patellofemoral pain syndrome. So I'll briefly just quickly run through what those 3 are. The patellar tendon is the tendon that connects your kneecap to your tibia at the front of your shin or your shin bone. And it's not a strong tendon. All it does is allow for a better function of the knee. What patellar tendonitis or tendinopathy typically is the degeneration of that tendon. So whether it's either chronic inflammation or the tendon has broken down to a point where it's no longer repairing itself. Quad tendonitis or tendinopathy is the same thing. The quad tendon runs from your kneecap up into the middle of your femur. And it's similar action to the patellar tendon, just on a different bone, just transfer of force. And the same thing can occur there. You can either have a degenerative tendon or just chronic inflammation in the tendon. Now, that was what my injury originally was. I actually tore the quad tendon, and then that turned into tendonitis, or tendinopathy actually. Then what later occurred due to an absence from squatting and an absence from using the knee properly was what is known as patellofemoral pain syndrome. What this is, you've got your femur and the bulkhead of the femur that is in the knee. You then have the patella that sits over the top of your kneecap. That has got a concave in the back of it, and it has to fit perfectly with the femur, otherwise you're gonna end up incurring pain. Now, if you have a tight iliotibial band, outer quad, or even your inner thigh muscles, your abductors, your adductors, if any of those are tight or not functioning properly, that kneecap is going to get pulled out of alignment during your squatting motion, and then that's not going to sit properly as the femur comes in behind. Anyway, that's where the pain comes from. So, a few things to try and fix this, to rehab it. One of the good tools that I've used is to actually stretch the tendons around the patella. So by doing this, you just hold your patella, pretend that the patella's there, and you just push it in different directions, see which one feels tight, and sit a bit longer, give some jolts in that direction. I find that actually frees up the patella a lot, makes it glide a lot better through the motion of the squat around the femur. Another tip that I've used for my rehab is a lot of eccentric loading. That's the negative portion of any rep. A great tool to use is to stand on a box and stand on the box, half on, half off a box, doesn't matter how high, and lower yourself down using the painful knee as the lowering leg, and lower yourself down to the ground to build up that strength without putting that concentric force through the knee. That is a tool that I used all through my rehab, and then I progressed to going back up and standing back up on the box, so doing a full step up, step down, and that's how I fixed my knee pain essentially rehab-wise. Some other tools that you can use are things such as patella straps or strapping your knee or knee wraps, those sorts of things. So the first tool that I used, which I had success with, it took the pain away, was a patella strap. Now what this is it's just a strap of either tape, or you can buy them, or you can get elastic band type material, and it just goes around where the pain is on your patella tendon. And to be honest, sports scientists don't actually know the mechanism that is at play here to remove the pain, but it's anecdotal evidence across the world that it does work. Bear in mind, this doesn't mean that you're healing your patellar tendon. So if your issue is more than just chronic inflammation, then this may be doing you damage in getting back healthy again. The next tool that I've also used is something called Capeza. It's an ATP Science product, and what it does, I've used it on multiple injuries, it just takes away the pain. I don't know how it does it. That's what their job is, to find out these types of things and figure out products like Capeza that are great at removing pain. If your issue perhaps isn't chronic inflammation, then what you might want to do is use something like a deep heat, something that stimulates blood flow to the area to stimulate the recovery of that tendon tissue, rather than something that just takes away the inflammation and pain like Capeza. For knee wraps, I love to use knee wraps. They're something I use all the time in my training. The problem with knee wraps is if your knee pain is due to patellofemoral pain syndrome, then the knee wraps are actually just gonna add, or knee sleeves, they're gonna add more bulk around your knee, and they're gonna shift that femur out of alignment even more. Now, I've actually been squatting without knee wraps. I still do my clean and jerks with knee wraps. I've been wearing them on and off depending on how it feels, but I'm finding more and more, as the issue has been patellofemoral pain syndrome, or PFPS, I've been finding that wearing them when I'm not going into a full depth squat causes less pain. So just something to keep in mind there. I know knee wraps are sort of like a safety blanket for a lot of us out there, and we love to use them, but perhaps not for when you're going full depth on your squats or going into a full depth squat. There is another tool that is often used to relieve pain, and that is cortisone or corticosteroids. Now, I do know people that have used these on their knee pain, and they report great anecdotal evidence on taking away the knee pain. There's two problems with it. The first one is that scientists aren't confident that corticosteroids increase recovery. There is actually some evidence to show that they're detrimental to tissue health. In the long term, a cortisone shot may not be something that is useful for getting rid of knee pain. I suppose if it is a problem of chronic inflammation there, then perhaps that could be the best option, but just bear that in mind. The second thing about cortisone or corticosteroids is they are on the WADA banned list, which is why I have not been able to use them on my knee. I take anti-doping very seriously, and if you're out there competing in weightlifting or competing in a natural powerlifting federation, just don't do it. It's not, you shouldn't be doping. It's against the rules, and it's giving you a performance advantage. So if you are a tested athlete, unfortunately, cortisone shots can't be for you. So I hope this helps. I'm gonna be making a video about the knee wraps in the next couple of weeks. I think it would be a good idea to go through the different types of knee wraps, when to use which ones, if to use them at all. Click the subscribe button so you don't miss it. If you have any other questions about knee pain, or you'd like some resources on how to find other ATP Science products or Capeza or anything like that, click the subscribe button, comment, leave me comments, you can shoot me messages, follow me on Instagram, the Weightlifting Accountant, and look forward to getting more content up. Signing out.
Come on, let's go.